Okay, so variables are any type of value that you store that can change. Okay, it's a type of value that you can change. When we create a variable and open our web page, the computer stores the value of the variable for as long as the website is not reloaded and as long as the website is open on your screen. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and try to create our own variables right now. Okay, so right now we're in our JavaScript code, and the way we create a variable is, let's just delete all of this code right now. The way we create a variable is by first writing var. So what do you guys think var stands for? It just stands for variable, right? It's almost like English. And then all we have to do is write the name of the variable. So let's just say this name is name, okay? Or full name. So we're just going to write fname. Fname will stand for full name. I can write any name I want, okay? And then I'm going to type equals, and then this is where we type the value of the variable. So if I want the f name to be Ephraim, I'm just going to write double quotes, and then I'm going to write Ephraim, okay? Now I'm going to write something called a semicolon, okay? You have to write a semicolon at the end of every line that you write in code, okay? There are some exceptions, like functions. You don't have to write a semicolon at the end of a function, but we'll go over those later, okay? So write a semicolon, then we're going to write enter. Now we're going to write var, and then we're going to write another variable. This variable will be called lname. Lname, as you can probably guess, stands for last name. So my last name is Adunya, and I'm going to write a semicolon. Now we're going to write enter, and now we're going to write one more variable. This will be age, okay? So with sentences or words, you have to write double quotes when you're writing your variable names, okay? When you're writing your variable values. But with numbers or integers or decimals, even, you can write the numbers without adding any kind of double quotes. So let's say I want my age to say 15. I can just write 15 just like that, and then I can write a semicolon, okay, because that's my age. Now we have our stuff written down. So if we go back and refresh our page, nothing happens. So why is that? That's because we've stored the values, but we haven't done anything with them. We can store the values for as long as we want, as long as the web page is open, but if we don't do anything with them, nothing will happen, okay? So now, let's say I want to display my variables inside of the console. So all I have to do is console.log, and then write my variable names. Notice this time I'm not writing the double quotes. Why is that? That's because when you write, the reason we write double quotes is so that the computer can differentiate between what is text and what is a variable name. Okay? The reason you don't have to write numbers is because the reason you don't have to write double quotes around numbers is because there are no variables that have numbers as their name. You can't write a number as a variable name. So if I write fname and then save my code, and then add a semicolon right here, and then save my code, and go back and refresh, you can see in the console we have the name Ephraim. You see that? So now let's try writing my first name and last name together. Okay? So the way you put two pieces of text together is by almost making it a math equation. Okay? We write plus, and then we write the next variable we want to add, or the next value we want to add. We want to add my last name, so I'm going to write lname, the name of the variable that I just created. Now I'm going to write save. Now I'm going to click save, and then go back and refresh my page. So now you see it says Ephraim Adunya, but there's no space between my first and last name. So why is that? That's because the computer doesn't know that you want a space. All the computer's doing is exactly what it's told. It gets the first name, and it gets the last name, and you said put them together, so you said okay, I'll put them together. It doesn't think like a human. So if we want to make our first and last name separated so that somebody can read it, we have to add something between these two, between the plus, right? Between the f name and last name. So one way that we can do that is by adding another plus, or let's just delete the l name right now for now. Now we're gonna write f name plus, and then instead of the l name, what we're gonna write is double quotes, and then between those double quotes we're just gonna add a space, okay? And then at the end of that space we can add l name or last name. Now we're gonna save, and then we can go back and then refresh the page. You see? Now we can see our first name and last name with a space in between. So let's say we also want to add our age. So now we're just going to add plus. We're going to add a another double quote with a space between it, a string with a space between it, and then we're going to type 15. Okay, now we're going to save, or actually not 15, we're going to type our variable name. Okay, now we're going to go back and then refresh. Now we can see it's displayed right there, right? Let's say I'm just going to change my name. Let's say I want to change my name, and I'm going to write Dagim as my name, as my first name. And then I don't know Dagim's last name. I think it's Dereja. So I'm going to write Dereja, and now I'm going to go back and then refresh the page. So now you can see when I change the value of the variable, it changes inside the console as well. That's why it's called a variable. It's a value that can vary. It's a value that can change. Okay? So now, let me go back. And let me go back to our presentation actually. Now we're going to go on. So now we're going to learn about arrays. Let me pause the recording and then